Thanks for staying with us on the conversation. On the first half, we dealt with situations in Kenya where there's been a protest by the people against the Finance Bill 2023, talking about increased taxes in Kenya. Moving to Nigeria now, where the House of Representatives Committee on Aviation has accused the Muhammadu Buhari-led administration of carrying out a fraudulent and secretive launch of Nigeria Air, the much-anticipated national carrier. The committee, chaired by Nnolim Nnaji, criticized the former Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, for excluding the National Assembly from the establishment of the airline.
And during an investigative hearing in the nation's capital, Abuja, the stakeholders in the deal, including Ethiopian Airlines, claimed to have no knowledge of the unveiling. As a result, the committee instructed the Ministry of Aviation and its project partners to immediately halt flights, operations, and other activities related to Nigeria Air. Furthermore, it called on President Bola Tinubu to promptly assemble a high-level presidential committee to conduct a comprehensive review of the project's processes. Now, joining us live for this discussion, we have Wole Shadare, an aviation expert, joins live from Lagos, Nigeria. A warm welcome to you, Wole, and thanks for joining us on the conversation.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Mr. Shadare, at the investigative hearing on the controversial launch of the airline in Abuja, the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency's Managing Director, Muhammadu Buhari, revealed that the aircraft bearing Nigerian colours was a chartered flight from Ethiopia. What are your reactions to this revelation?
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. Go ahead, please.
Thank you very much. What happened, or what has been happening in the last few weeks, honestly, is so depressing. Depressing in the sense that this project that was supposed to be a project for the country was mismanaged, to say the least. If you ask me, what the House of Reps committee did yesterday was a little belated, but it's good. I also felt that their complicity in all these charades that we witnessed in the last few days or in the last few weeks, because if you have an oversight function, if you're given that responsibility to look through the aviation industry and come up with your oversight function, you would have seen some of these things they spotted yesterday. They would have seen it, and they would have raised alarm over what they regaled us with yesterday. From beginning of this year, a lot of people thought the Ministry of Aviation was serious. But we demanded to know how transparent that project is, but nothing was made available to the media. But by and large, we thought with Ethiopian Airlines is the biggest airline in Africa, is the most profitable airline in Africa. There's no shame in partnering with a big airline as big as Ethiopian Airlines, just like every other nations do, because partnering with Ethiopian Airlines gave us real hope that the airline was about to fly. But the most annoying aspect of it all is that if you're trying to get a license, or what we call AOC, Air Operator Certificate, you go through 5 stages. So the revelation last week that the airline only got to stage 1 of the 4 stages was mind-boggling. So if you just got to stage 1 and left stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, stage 5, and you came to the public to tell us that the airline would fly, only for us to see an aircraft that was chartered and deceive the whole country that actually this airline is Nigeria Air. You were never an airline in the first place, because you just got to stage 1 of your license, of the process. How this was allowed to go on for a long time is what a lot of people didn't know. It's good to have a national carrier, if you ask me. Can you hear me?
Yes, still looking at this issue, I'm happy you brought about the National Assembly because a lot of people were marveled at the fact that, at this point in time, the National Assembly is claiming not to have been carried along in the whole process of establishing the national carrier. So first of all, can the National Assembly truly excuse itself? And also we have reports that both the full business case and shareholders agreement for the national carrier had not been approved. So take us through the process for all of this.
Thank you so much. The business case with Ethiopian Airlines was made available, where the Ethiopian Airlines had about 49% equity, and some Nigerian companies had various shares, and the federal government has just 5% equity. On paper, that looks fantastic. That looks good because many of us have canvassed that the country must not run a national carrier, because we've never had a good history of managing assets. We all know what happened to Nigeria Airways, how Nigeria Airways was run aground, and we felt that government does not have business in business, that it should be public sector driven, with government having 5% equity, which is a very nice thing on paper. What we do not know, because Ethiopian Airlines is a part of the agreement, is to train Nigerian pilots, to train the crew, and to provide aircraft for Nigeria Air. What baffled me is that while all this were going on, the National Assembly never deemed it necessary or fit to invite the minister or the Ministry of Aviation to present the business case, the full business case to it. Maybe they just thought that the minister was right or was doing the right thing, but I believe that they slept for too long, and they were also culpable in all of this. For the domestic airlines too, yes, they fought a good battle, but some of the battles they fought was also personal. Some of the battles they also fought was selfish, but we have given them the opportunity to be vindicated, because they felt that Nigeria Air, in collaboration with the biggest airline in Africa, was going to upset the market for them. And you cannot grow the aviation market if you are not ready for competition. This new airline was going to give them a very good competition, but with the manner and the way it was handled, they were ready to frustrate it. And good, they frustrated it, because now we know a lot of water has passed under the bridge. I would not even clap for the National Assembly for what they did, because if they had done this, perhaps would have been saved this embarrassment, would have been saved this shame a long time. So I do not clap for them. They haven't done anything spectacular, because some of us have looked through this in the last few weeks and said, where are we headed? Where is the direction of this airline? Anything that is shrouded in secrecy has a little bit of selfishness in it, and I wouldn't know why the promoters decided to do what they did. One, if you want to set up a national airline, there must be a stakeholder. You must get the buy-in of all the stakeholders. People should really know what you are up to, what you're doing. Every move towards realizing this airline must be open to the public, but it wasn't open to the public.
Yeah. I mean, this is meant to be a national carrier, like you said, and it shouldn't be shrouded under secrecy. It's something to be proud of. And you said even the partnership with Africa's most profitable and biggest airline, Ethiopian Airlines, is not something to be ashamed of. Now, you also said that the National Assembly should not pat itself on the back, because if it had done its oversight functions, not that we wouldn't have lost a lot of money and would have saved ourselves an embarrassment. Now, let's talk about the money. Let's go back to the money incurred, to the so-called realization of Nigeria Air, specifically what the former NAMA managing director of Top Brass Aviation, Captain Rowland, he claimed that the project had gulped about 85.4 billion naira. This is a huge amount of money with nobody allegedly accounting for the funds. What's your assessment on this? And can punitive measures still be taken against the immediate past Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika? Because it seems to be the one who has been calling the shots on all of this.
I think this is not the first time we'll have this type of problem. You remember in 2016, this project was suspended because the way and manner we went to Farnborough in the UK to launch just a logo for several millions of naira or dollars, which received the criticism of so many Nigerians that how can you be launching an aircraft logo with such amount of money in the UK? And this project was suspended. I wish it was suspended and never reopened. Maybe, perhaps it would have saved us a lot of embarrassment we face now. I think a year after that or 2 years after that, the project was kickstarted. And we thought that, okay, we must have learned our lessons. We must have, known where we went wrong and, correct these mistakes. But rather than correct these mistakes, we went deeper into these mistakes, and so much money was expended, and we really need to know what really happened. We really need to have an account if we're going to float a national carrier and make sure that we do not fall into this type of disgrace. We really need to know how much public fund went into this thing that there's no airline as far as I'm concerned. What went into it? How was the money spent? What did we do with this money? You can't spend such huge amount of money and not have an airline. It's not rocket science to float an airline. If you're truly serious about floating an airline. So we really need to have accountability. We really need to know what happened. And that is why I support every move for government to set up a high-power body of inquiry to really know what happened. And if you look at it, honestly, it's so upsetting in the sense that for close to 15 years now, we've been talking about national carrier, national carrier. Even smaller countries that in Africa have set up national carriers that are functioning very well, like Rwanda Air, like so many other countries. So what is wrong with us as a people? So when you look at it, you just feel so ashamed of everything in the sense that it does not take anything to, if we're truly serious, if we're truly committed to what we're doing, by now we shouldn't even be talking about national carrier. We should even be talking about strengthening the airline. You remember in 2012, 2014, a former Minister of Aviation, Stella Udra, also experimented with this, and it was a disaster too, just like this one is also a disaster. For how long are we going to continue to make the same mistake and allow public funds to get wasted without...
Looking at this issue, what do you think is the major challenge that we're having? Because you mentioned this is not the first time. It seems like the dream of the Nigerian aviation. Yeah. So what exactly is the problem?
I think it's just pure greed and corruption. It's simple. There's no other name you can give to it. It's corruption and greed. If you want to set up, we are all into this media job. If you want to set up a TV station, you know what it takes to set up your TV station, and you know how long it will take you, the time it will take you to start making profit. If you want to set up, you can't set up an airline and deliberately call people who will make it not to work. So you're doing that because of the money you're going to get from it. And that is quite unfortunate, because you look at it, it's so demoralizing in the sense that if any government comes out now to say, oh, we must form a national carrier, from ab initio, we start looking at that project as a dead project rather than look at it as something that will benefit the industry because of the bad examples we've had in the last 10, 15 years. So nobody is going to take that government or that person seriously any longer, because we've had about 3 attempts and they've ended in serious fiasco. And if we put this money together, it would have been enormous to, put into infrastructure, health, and others. And that has also given some people the ammunition to say no. Government should never even go near, national carrier again. I know the local airlines are so happy with their shambolic services they give. One thing that baffles me about this industry is that you're not ready to improve on your service, and you're not also willing to allow people who go to accept competition. You just give us whatever you want. You want to go to Abuja now from Lagos, it's about 90,000, 100,000. How many people can afford
Yeah, but why are the regulators not clamping down on them? Consumer Protection Agency, the aviation regulators. Are the business people more powerful than the regulators?
No, you see, it's a free market, but I quite agree with you that the regulators should look at
service
pricing
delivery
somehow, exactly, and service delivery. And that is one of the biggest challenges we have in the aviation industry. You want to go to Abuja. My wife traveled last week. She was supposed to depart Lagos for Abuja at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. The aircraft didn't depart until 10 o'clock. I was outside. I was in Istanbul. I just came back yesterday, and she told me when I was there, I was really, really worried and said, what type of service is this? Yes, we have a regulator. I think the regulator should sit up and, do what they think is necessary. We can't continue to run our aviation industry. Yes, we have made some gains in the past years, but the gains are very slow. We are not making the type of gains that we should be making in aviation. So the regulators should honestly sit up. They've done well because during COVID, we really recovered from COVID even faster than the United States, faster than UK. We are just behind Colombia as the second fastest country that recorded very speed recovery in the air transport market. So by and large, we need to also look at this thing, take a holistic look of what we have done to ourselves. How do we get out of this hole, and how do we begin to tell the world that we're serious people?
Okay, thank you so much, Wale, for joining us in this conversation.
I was thinking I could sneak in one last question, and I will. Wale, please, I need your help in 60 seconds. Should we just kill the idea of a national carrier for now? Because there's a sense that, they've put in so much money, and you can't let this money waste. And on the other side, I mean, it's almost like a personal thing for aviation ministers to want to live as their legacy. So,
and even the president hasn't even said anything about it. I mean, Bola Tinubu.
Come again. I want to take the two questions in 1 minute.
I said President Bola Tinubu has not said anything about this so-called Nigeria Air with the controversies going on. We're seeing cabinet members being formed. Do you think he's going to put a lot of limelight on this situation?
No, I think he needs to study the things that have happened, and he has his hands full with so many problems. So he has to take the ones that are more important now. Not that this one is not important. He has to look at the economy. He has to look at security. And these are the two major things that he has to deal with. Aviation is elitist. Aviation is not everybody flies, understand? So those ones are more crucial to the aviation industry, to the country than this one. These ones can still be tackled. So back to your question, I think we shouldn't even jettison national carrier. It's very desirable. We're going to gain a lot from it. What we need to do is to get people who are committed, people who really love this country. I traveled the other time. I saw, Turkish Airlines, over 100 aircraft. They've made Istanbul Airport their hub. If you look at the catalytic effect of the national carrier to economic development, it cannot just be overemphasized. So I was at a forum, we discussing, no, we don't need national carrier again. I say, you people don't know what you're saying. We have national carrier. We need national carrier to boost aviation in Nigeria, and we are losing the market to Ghana. Do you know a lot of people go to Ghana to travel, go to Ghana to board their flight to travel out of this country because the taxes and charges are very expensive here? Who is losing? Nigeria is losing, and Ghana is making a lot of money from our own market. Okay. So if we have a national carrier, it is going to drive growth.
All right, don't kill the dream is what Wale is saying, despite a lot of failures. Well, we'll see if this dream will be able to, come to fruition. Thank you so much for joining us on this conversation, Wale Shadari, and so much expertise on the aviation sector. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, this is where we drop the anchor on today's program. In the first half, we did look at the protest over a tax hike in Kenya. We just looked at the reports by the House of Representatives saying the launch of Nigeria Air was a scam. Thank you for being a part of the program. I'm Benga Borowa.
And I'm Rita Modia. Till next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.